We will work with multi-page documents, layers, the object browser, breadcrumbs, selection tools, and inspectors. You will work with multi-page documents, layers, object browser, breadcrumbs, selection tools, and inspectors. Multi-page documents. Using the arrow keys in the side panel, I can browse through the different pages of the document. I make the page boxes visible. Different pages can have different page boxes. On the other hand, the separations are the same for all the pages. I double-click the color patch next to the high gloss spot UV varnish separation. The ink definition on a specific page. If I change, the definition also changes for the rest of the pages in the document. Layers. The Layers section gives an overview of all the layers in my document. I can select a layer by clicking it. I can move the layer up and down the list to change the order. I can double-click to rename a layer. I can change the visibility of a layer by clicking the eye icon. I can lock specific layers. Locked layers cannot be edited, but they can be printed. The locked state is never saved in the PDF file. I can also set the layer type. In this case, it is set to cutting, which is a processing step for structural design. It means that the layer will not be printed. For more information, please check the separate module about processing steps. I can also check the different layer types in the processing step layers overview. These are the layer types in this document. I can click this icon to select all the elements in a layer. Using these buttons in the Layers palette, I can add a new layer, remove a layer, and move objects from one layer to another. Object Browser, and Breadcrumbs. I click the Object Browser button. The Object Browser lists all layers, groups, and objects in a document. It is linked to the elements selected in the document. I right-click in the document pane to open the tool switcher. I choose Group Select. I click an element in the document. As soon as I select an element, breadcrumbs become available. Group Select always selects the topmost group, which explains why the path breadcrumb is grayed out. I can click the path on the breadcrumb to select the lowest part of the selection without having to activate the Object Select tool. I can rename a path or a group in the breadcrumbs, or in the Object Browser. The breadcrumbs show the hierarchy of the selected object only. Whereas, in the Object Browser I can see the hierarchy of the entire layer. Layers in the Object Browser are listed in the same order as in the Layers palette. However, I cannot change the layer order here. I can select an object or multiple objects and move them up and down the list to change their order. There are two buttons in the Object Browser, Keep Expanded and Zoom to Selection. I enable Zoom to Selection and select an object. Automatically, ArtPro Plus zooms in on the selected object. I press Command 0 to fit the document to the window. I enable Keep Expanded to keep all layers and groups expanded. When both are enabled and I click an element inside the document pane, it does not zoom in on the selection. However, it does keep expanded. Zoom to selection will only work for the object that is selected in the object browser. Keep expanded will also work for the selection made in the document pane. Selection tools. Objects in the document can be selected by using one of the select tools. Group Select, Object Select, or Path Select, 4 paths within a compound. I right-click in the document pane to open the tool switcher. I choose the Group Select tool. Group Select selects the highest level groups or objects. I click inside an object. The clicked object belongs to the clip group in the graphics layer. I open the tool switcher again. I click Object Select. I click an object in the document. Object Select selects lowest level objects and compounds, even inside groups. If I select an object in the document, I can find the layer in which it is located in the breadcrumbs. I can click the layer breadcrumb to select everything in that layer. I can select multiple objects, and even multiple objects within a group, and create a group or subgroup using the shortcut Command G. With Object Select, I click an object in the document. If the selected object is part of a group or clipped image group, the Object Select cursor will have a plus sign when hovering over it. Clicking again while in this mode will select the next level group. I can do this repeatedly, to move up in the group structure. I now want to delete an element which is part of a compound path. I press Z and zoom to the element. I press A to switch to Object Select. I click and drag to select the letter O for deletion. With the Object Select tool, no element has been selected as it belongs to a compound path. To delete an element that belongs to a compound path, I need the Path Select tool. I select O again, and press the Delete button. The selected element is now deleted. Inspectors. Based on the current selection, different inspectors appear. The inspectors show properties and possible actions for the current selection, such as the current fill and stroke. I now select the path. I can change its properties such as fill, stroke, stroke properties, transparency properties, and transformation properties. Likewise, different options appear for the clip group. In the Layers step, you learned how to select a layer, change the visibility of a layer, reorder layers, lock and unlock layers. You also learned that you can add or delete a layer and change the position of a layer. In the Object Browser step, you learned that the Object Browser lists all objects in layers, and how to view and rearrange them. You also saw how breadcrumbs show the selection in the hierarchy of layers and groups. In the Selection Tools step, you learn the use of Group Select, Object Select and Path Select tools. Finally, the inspectors show properties and possible actions for the current selection, such as the current fill and stroke.